Good evening, everybody. I'm Tyler Matheson. Susie Garib is on assignment and will join us later in the program. A blowout April jobs report to start with. A lot more Americans getting back to work last month. Here are the numbers. 288,000 jobs added and the nation's unemployment rate falling to 6.3%. That's a drop of nearly 0.5% and the lowest jobless rate in nearly 6 years. Economists say it's an encouraging sign that employers have finally thawed out from the grips of this winter's brutally cold and snowy weather and have begun putting more people on their payrolls. But the news wasn't all good, with hundreds of thousands of people leaving the workforce or giving up on finding a job altogether. Hampton Pearson has more now on April's non-farm jobs report, including where the jobs are and the challenges the long-term unemployed still face.
In April, job growth increased at the fastest pace in more than 2.5 years, and the unemployment rate fell to a 5.5-year low. With upward revisions for February and March, job growth for the last 3 months has averaged 238,000. At a Rose Garden news conference with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Obama welcomed the news but said there's still more to be done.
All told, our businesses have now created 9.2 million new jobs over 50 consecutive months of job growth. The grit and determination of the American people are moving us forward, but we have to keep a relentless focus on job creation and creating more opportunities for working families.
April employment gains were broad-based. The private sector generated 273,000 jobs, including 75,000 in professional and business services, which traditionally are among the better-paying jobs. Among the small business success stories, Trunk Club, a Chicago-based members-only men's clothing service. The 4-year-old startup had its best year yet in 2013. Gross sales topped $42 million.
When you sign up for Trunk Club online at trunkclub.com, you get matched with a stylist in one of our offices, and that stylist takes care of you and shepherds you through the process of upgrading your wardrobe.
With more than 100 new hires in the last year, the total workforce now tops 400, including expanding to Dallas and Washington, D.C. Among the new hires, Tasneem Ibu. Since graduating from college last year, she's held several part-time jobs while interviewing constantly for full-time positions.
It is a tough process, and you kind of have to have a little bit of a thick skin about it. Going to lots of different interviews, and you meet a lot of different people and see a lot of different companies. But I think at the same time, it's a little bit of a blessing because you kind of get to see all the different companies that wouldn't necessarily work out for you by doing all of those interviews. But it's tough.
But the April jobs report shows millions of job seekers still on the sidelines. While the 6.3% unemployment rate is the lowest in more than 5 years, it happened because the labor force shrank by more than 800,000. And the labor force participation rate fell to just under 63%, the lowest level since last December.
You look at the participation rates over the last few months, and they bounce up, they bounce down. What I saw about last month's numbers is that the number of discouraged workers did not go up.
The Labor Department says 3.5 million Americans have been out of work for 6 months or longer. That's the lowest number in 5 years. But that decline is due to many Americans who have lost their long-term unemployment benefits since the start of the year. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Hampton Pearson in Washington.